All the time one of the shows my company makes got nominated for an award. OK, so it was for Best Sound Editing, which is hardly prestigious, and the awards were the Television Technical Awards, which no one has ever heard of, and in the end it didn't even win. But still, that was a good day in the office. Today will not go down in history as such a good day. I feel the need to explain myself, to go back to the beginning and try to put into words how I ended up here. I know I started out with good intentions, which is the story of my life, by the way. I meant well. Michelle needed my help, and I have never not been there to help her. At least I thought she needed my help. Maybe that was my first mistake. Lesson 1, leave well alone. You really don't need to interfere, to take over and try to sort out someone else's life for them. But that's the way it's always been. I'm the decisive one, the doer. Michelle is more easygoing. She's happy for me to take charge. I'm completely aware that my need to create order in other people's lives is some kind of diversion from the fact that my own personal life is chaotic, to say the least. It's the waving handkerchief that's meant to ensure you don't notice the magician is palming your card. I've left a string of disastrous relationships in my wake. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's them. Actually, technically it's always me because I could avoid the bad ones if I wanted to. But convincing me of the merits of that would be like trying to persuade a heroin addict that he would be better off having a nice cup of tea. Nothing I have ever done comes close to this, though. I've never been a husband stealer. Not my worst enemies, let alone my best friends. You won't tell her, will you? I turn back to Patrick, who half raises an eyebrow at me. No, of course not, he says, and I breathe a small sigh of relief. Although I didn't really think he was going to suggest FaceTiming her right now and staging a reenactment. Anyway, back to my attempt to justify the unjustifiable. Here goes. Give me a chance. At least hear me out. Chapter 2. Let me fill in the basics first. Don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with my whole life history or the long, drawn-out story of my immediate family. Happy, nuclear, youngest of 3, just in case you're interested. I'll stick to the essentials. My name is Tamsin Elizabeth Fordham. I'm a 38-year-old executive producer and co-founder of a small and not particularly glamorous TV company, mortgage holder of a 2-bedroom flat in Belsize Park, owner of a small dog, all my own teeth. Castle Productions specialises in afternoon property shows, long-running series where people buy houses. We produce various versions: about-to-be divorcees having to look for 2 homes for the price of their one, newlyweds wanting their first nest, one where we help both find a house and a job for would-be relocators. It's basically the same programme with a slight tweak here and there. They're very popular and extremely cheap to make. Consequently, we're doing well. Financially, that is. We're hardly setting the arts world alight. In context, you can see why we're all so excited about the Best Sound Editing nomination. Some companies have an award shelf in their meeting room, a shrine to their success. We don't even have a meeting room. Usually we all cram into one of our offices. If there are more than 6 people involved, we go to the pub next door. There are 2 of us who run the place, me and my partner Ian. Ian used to be my boss and we set up together about 4 years ago. It works. We get on well, but not so well that we feel the need to intertwine our lives too much outside of the office. Ian is married with 5 kids, and he and his wife Fiona always invite me to the big events, but thankfully are completely understanding whenever I decline. I'm not very good with all that happy families stuff. Then there's Anne-Marie, who looks after the business side of things, the contracts and the accounts, all the fun bits. She's a bit older, early 60s, and she takes care of us all whether we like it or not. She's a big baker, I blame Paul Hollywood, and most days she brings in trays of biscuits or cupcakes that she's rustled up the night before, which is very sweet. No one ever eats them, though. Not because we're all watching our weight, but because they're usually rock hard and taste of little more than burnt sugar. I've wondered before if she has a side business as a dentist and she's just trying to drum up trade. There are 3 assistants. Lucy, who works for Ian, is a bit of a stroppy cow, but he likes her efficiency, watching her organise paper clips on her desk.